You've been booked for 1 hour of walk around magic at a high-end corporate event. What's in your pockets? Today on Magicians Talking Magic, Ryan and I are going to tip what goes into our highly successful close-up magic sets.
Welcome to Magicians Talking Magic. My name is Ryan Joyce.
And my name is Grimazing. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode, where we're actually going to reveal some of our own personal magic secrets. I don't know if we've ever gone this deep into our own personal magic sets like this, but first, as we always do on the episode, news and promos. The first thing, this is fresh. It happened just before we hit record. You got an email. Can you give us the scoopy on this email?
Yeah, absolutely. And many of you might have heard about this. Many of you probably have not, but Canada's Got Talent is coming back to Canada. And this, I know a little bit about. I've heard it over the last week or so, but we just got a email through Cam officially getting an introduction, seeking for Canadian magicians who wish to appear on City TV's upcoming season. I guess this would be season 2, but like the season 1 was like 9-10 years ago. I don't know. So that's really interesting. What we'll do is we'll leave links in the episode description and join us in Discord for more detailed information about this. But City TV is hosting, I guess, season 2 of Canada's Got Talent. And what I do know is that this is Simon Cowell's, I guess I've been told, production company doing this one versus the previous one. So,
do you remember do you remember the production company?
I struggled my brain forever to think about who it was. If you mentioned it, I would know instantly. But they also produced
Mark Byrne.
Nope. No. It's no. This is it's a Canadian. Okay. They produce the Canadian award shows and things. Big producers of Canadian content.
You mean like the CBC?
Nope. It's an independent producer. Anyways, they get a lot of the recognizable brand name franchises in Canada. So this is so we'll keep you updated on the information that we sort of find out over the coming weeks. I don't even know officially when it films. I'm looking at the email now. It doesn't say anything specifically, but it is easy, safe, and simple to apply, as the words from this casting email says. So.
Safe. Why is safe so up there? Like, what's
not quite sure.
Okay, so that's weird. Anyhow, Joyce, when you hear this news, what are your first thoughts about this? Is this something that intrigues you to any? I mean, you've done it before.
I'm not personally intrigued by this. I don't know if that maybe I should be. I don't know. But the truth is, like, I'm happy about it because, like, it brings more Canadian entertainment front and center. And I don't watch the show personally, but I've heard that the model of it is less like exposing terrible performers and really trying to showcase good quality stuff. So if that's said to be true, then this is awesome. I really think this will be a nice way to hopefully showcase more Canadian magicians and, of course, other talent as well. So go Canada.
This sounds like an exciting opportunity if you were a magician out there looking to get some big TV credit or something like that. To me personally, it sounds exciting and terrifying.
Yep. Would you do it? Are you thinking about?
Currently, it seems like a possibility in my mind that I feel like I should challenge myself for something like this. I'm not sure yet. To be continued. I guess this will be a developing story. Stay tuned through the episodes of Magicians Talking Magic.
How fun. Well, don't forget, everybody, to check us out on the YouTubes. We've got a really awesome YouTube channel. So you could catch our episodes. You can leave them in the background while you do the dishes or, cook dinner or whatnot. We are on the YouTubes. So join us there and subscribe.
Yeah, you can watch these episodes, which, sometimes people enjoy watching and seeing what our reactions to each other instead of just listening to them. So you can tune in and watch that. Plus, brand new announcement. episode 130. Not a huge, maybe it's an important milestone. I mean, 13 with a 0 on it. It's like lucky or unlucky.
Does it get one of those noises?
Should we? Do you think we should drop some music in for this special promo announcement?
Yeah.
All right, let's lay it in now. So we are excited to announce that we now have Magicians Talking Magic merchandise. We have merch for the podcast. So if you want to support the podcast or you just want to represent the podcast because you enjoy listening to us weekly, we now have t-shirts, stickers, and some other things, all through Redbubble currently, which keeps it simple and easy for all of us. And those links will be in the description. So we are excited to see what you think of our merch going forward. But that is our new exciting establishment here at the podcast this week. Triple snaps to t-shirts and stickers.
We'll be sure to show off some of the t-shirts on our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
Also, just to let you know, last week, goodness, we had an incredible Cam Jam event with Topaz, who joined us from Germany, and it was at least 1:30 a.m. his time, joining us for an hour and a bit of conversation. Really awesome. Those who attended said great things and submitted some great feedback. So thank you, those who joined us. It was a special evening. It was also our last Cam Jam of the summer. So obviously everyone's life gets hopefully a little bit back to more normal over the summer, and everyone's always busy. So we will be keeping our Cam Jams, getting them all geared up for the fall. So lots of Greg teased a real great fall season. He's working on some fun stuff. So don't forget to join Cam and check us out at cammagic.org. You have some news as well.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot that we just added this in before the pie. I made a purchase. I made a recent magical purchase, all inspired by Chris Shepard, who posted on Facebook that he has completed his Steinmeier Impossibilities collection. So it got me thinking, where am I at in my collection? Where am I at? And I was only 3 away. I forget how many there are in the series, 9 or something like that. I was 3 away. So I ordered them direct from Steinmeier's website too. Boom, easy, because some of the versions were challenging to find on a regular store. But Steinmeier seems to have most of them. So completed the set. The set is complete.
That is the complete sound effect, or complete set sound effect. That's great. I have a couple. I'm jealous. Maybe this is a purchase I'll be doing very soon as well. Well, this topic is a fun topic. This is it. Did I skip any news? We're into the topic.
We're into the.
This is super fun because it's for a minute was a flashback when we were asking ourselves to discuss our close-up sets. Like, it was kind of a flashback of almost two years or so, my goodness, a year and a half at least, into this world. So it was kind of neat to go through this process. And as we share our close-up sets and our sort of go-to close-up stuff, we'd be curious to know what yours is, and you can share that with us in the Discord. Links in the description.
And one thing I want all the listeners to keep in mind too, we're only going to mention a few tricks here, and I think that's because these are specific tricks that we have selected and perfected over, I don't know, at least 20 plus years doing close-up magic. And through that time, I remember Eugene Berger has some sort of quote about, if I have 26 tricks in my repertoire, and if I could get them down to 9, I could be really great, kind of thing. But it's true. If you continue to work on that same story, that same trick, it develops over time and it changes. But the more and more you believe in the magic trick that's happening, and the more you believe in it, the less someone will see through any opportunity of the method or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, as I go through the list, I'm just out front. I'm not very good with names of tricks and names and who did what and things. Like, I tried very hard, especially with the podcast. I know how important that is. So it's something, of course, we're trying to. And so going back in my brain, I'd never realized some of these names of the tricks, and to see 20 years later, they're still on, lists of people like yourself and like many of the magicians in the Discord channel mentioned one of the tricks that you're about to hear as one of their go-tos in the close-up set. So it's really interesting to see the classics maintain. And so I'll go through my list here, starting with a combo routine that I always have sort of prepped and ready to go. And it starts with the essence of Card to Pocket, which is Raphael Benatar's version, which I just love. It is brilliant in execution. I don't know, should we, as a Card to Pocket routine, I don't know if I should go into more details other than that, but what I've done is like I paired that with Jay Sankey's Clipped. And the reason I did that is in the restaurant world, when I was doing restaurants 100 years and a half ago, or in a social setting, it gave me a really fun hook statement. And so, and that was, I would have a playing card folded and attached to my keychain, something I always had with me. And I would be able to say that this is the oldest, this is from the very first card trick that I performed. And I've held on to it all of this time. It sort of creates this intrigue into the story, and then it's forgotten, right? And then you do Card to Pocket, and then the clipped card is their card with the signature, which is like blows the mind. And it's easy for me. It was perfect because I kept this thing on my keychain, so it was kind of unlike Clipped, where you need that, you need some sort of utensil to squeeze. And
right, there's a paper clip and all these
clip, right.
But the keychain is such a natural item that you're already going to have and not extra weirdness. And it makes sense that you might actually carry your playing card from your very first trick like that too, right there on your keychain, because your keychain holds
especially if you're a nerd like me. And so it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my go-to. And the other thing about it is I could prep that real quick, super quick, because I would just slide that portion of the keychain off. It was its own little thing. So I'd take it off my main keys. So all I was left with was this, dangling key and card, and hand that off to someone, and it's forgotten. And then do Card to Pocket, and then turn around and like, oh yeah, remember that card I showed you at the beginning? And then you just come out. I would always come out and say, well, I lied to you tonight, and just be honest with them. Anyways, it was a great piece of theater. I ramble, but I really, really enjoyed performing those.
Kind of talking shop, but not giving away full details. We'll still talk kind of method. Mercury card fold, is that what you would be using in this?
Oh, yes. Okay. Great. Oh,
the Mercury.
I didn't even think about it. Yep.
100%. I'm curious because I have tried the Mercury. I've performed Mercury card. Mine's always the sloppy. Do you have a good one? Is yours pretty good?
Well, the thing was, like, here's the setup for this. So I imagine just doing their signed card to pocket, punchline, and then another punchline, and they think it's over. Like, it's boom, deck comes back into place. Whack, whack, whack. Right?
Yeah.
Slam them down, just sort of wait. It was great. It was another punchline that you could really stretch out. Anyway,
that's actually one of the things, especially when doing these tricks more and more, you really get to feel the offbeats of the trick when you can get away with a bold thing such as a whant whant flap flip.
Yep. Yeah, and if you do those whant whants during the Mercury card fold, good for you. That would be triple snaps to those that could do that. And so that would be my, like, okay, so that's like a solid, I mean, if it's a social setting, you can get a good chunk of time out of it with just those two little things there, especially with the signing and losing the card and, just all sorts of fun stuff in there. So that was for sure what I would be my standard go-to ready set. I would have prepped my spontaneous version of that, of course, just Card to Pocket, or the Biddle trick, which it's just one of the greatest pieces of magic, card magic. And and it was just that piece of magic particular is like the first thing I would probably do on the ready with a deck of cards. And it's one of the first pieces of magic I ever learned, as far as like a professional. I think it was Bob Elliott that taught us at a magic camp 100 years ago. So it stuck with me. So those three for sure are in my like repertoire. And then the other, I love destroying cards because for a lot of people, they're like, just that in itself is sort of way outside of their norm. So it hits them in a neat spot. So doing linking cards and card warp for me are given. I love that, and being able to lead them with that chaos is just beautiful, beautiful. So
And
that, I guess, is my list.
and both linking cards and card warp you can do without any preparation too, which is great. You're destroying cards, doing impossible things with torn and restored cards, and leaving this weird impossible mess too from just an impromptu deck. It's great.
Yeah, it's so fun. All of those are great pieces of magic. We are so indebted to the legends that created them before us. So that's really
And
great magic
also,
in there.
looking at the set that you just described too, all it is a deck of cards that might not even be yours, right?
Yeah, that's true. You got to have the clipped option. Paper will find something in a scurry, but everything else, aside from a marker, is ready to rock.
Which is so key when it comes to doing walk around magic, is kind of, pocket management, keeping things light. Because also that deck of cards will probably just kind of exist in your hands as you stroll, walk about. So nothing really lives in your pockets too much except maybe a Sharpie. And the most important part, the business cards.
There you have it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I never did tricks with business cards, though. It's something I should investigate. In fact, I need to get new business cards. So that's a whole great discussion. We should have a podcast episode.
Oh, we could. Yeah. I've actually never. Michael Lamar, I think. This is something I've been thinking about too, researching new magic to do strolling walk around. He has a great routine. He has a whole, I think, tape on business card magic. But he has a really great routine, simple thing with just a Himber wallet of like taking blank pieces of paper, you show them, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, tap, tap, and then there's your business cards. And that's just a simple, because when it comes to business card magic, you don't want to waste anyone's time with that, right? And then I also heard another interesting idea, I think it was from Richard Osterland, that when you're using your business cards for mentalism things and then you're tearing them up, you shouldn't be tearing up your business cards, because you should appreciate your business. You should appreciate your business cards. And I thought that was something really interesting too, because I've never actually wanted to tear up business cards, because I spent a lot of time on the graphics and making it look nice. And I think it's that underlying idea of, I appreciate this and I want you to as well, So I'll dive into my go-to set that I do, which I do in restaurants. I would do a variant of this in farmers markets. This is basically my close-up set it plays kind of everywhere, and it needs a table or doesn't need a table, and it packs super small. It's just like yours, Ryan, where it's basically just card-based. So my go-to opener has always been Chicago opener. This has been a big discussion in the Discord, and I didn't do it for years, and then I decided to try it one time, and I think some Discorders had the similar feeling of like, oh my goodness, I can't believe the power of this trick. Just is so simple too. I think to us as magicians, it seems so simple. It's similar to something like Bewave. It's so simple to us, the method and everything, but to someone else, the effect, the magic they're experiencing is pretty astounding. It's pretty like really intense. So Chicago opener is great, and I do variant on Andy Gladwin's version that he taught, that I learned from him at the table lecture, I think. But the rhythm of it's so simple. There's no knacky sleight of hand to it. It's not too challenging, and it's a great way to start the conversation with people of what's going to happen too. And there's no pick a card in my version. I deal cards down, say stop, just say stop at any point. They'll look at a card. I have someone else memorize one. It's very easy, and it's not too in your face just yet. Because in my close-up set, I want to build the relationship and the rapport with everyone before I start to get in everyone's face. This is pre-COVID too. I don't know what I'm going to do now. And then Biddle Trick. The Biddle Trick is definitely my next trick that I'll do. And this is usually when I start engaging with people's hands more, because I love the Biddle Trick, and I learned it from Johnny Thompson's series. I think like Commercial Magic. I forget what it was called, but I remember Phil at Kind of Magic, when I was looking for, I need some new material. Phil highly suggested Johnny Thompson at the time, so I got the DVD set from Phil, and that's where I learned the Biddle Trick. And Jay Sankey has a great touch on the Biddle Trick as well, that I think you can find on his YouTube somewhere. I forget. He's called it Chris Shepard will correct us somewhere on the Discord. I bet he knows. I forget what he calls it, but basically, I start playing up the idea that I can take a card invisibly and move it from one person's hands to the other. I think sometimes I don't know how everyone plays up the theater, the Biddle trick, but I take the five cards that apparently has their card in it as well, put it in one person's hand. The entire deck is in someone else's hands, and I move one card from one location to the other. And I start to play up the concept that playing cards might be invisible. So that's what I do there.
That's really fun. Yeah, it's very interactive. You can get, that's great. I like that a lot.
And I've always played with, sometimes when I pull the invisible card out, I've seen John Gustafaro do stuff like this, where you look at the invisible card and you go, oh, your card was the 3 of hearts. And then people are like, what? Because when you're doing the Biddle trick, you'll discover what their card is.
Of course,
right?
Absolutely, sure.
But then I've also done it where I'll go to the person and go, if I did was real and I moved one invisible card from your hands to the deck, how many cards would Gina have? And then they go 4. And go, okay. Now I'm not sure what your card was, but what was your card? And they go, I don't know, the Ace of Clubs. And I go, it was there before? And they go, yes. And then I go, is it there now? And then they look at it, and that's a different experience. I'm not sure which one plays better, but I've played with both. I think it's more of like timing. If I feel rushed, I'll look at the card, and if I feel like I can build a magical connection, then I dive into the how many cards did you have kind of thing.
That is fun.
The other one I call it MCF, Awesome Michael Craig Francis. No, it's a multiple card find. And this is just a version of a trick that I've always done in restaurants forever, where I have 4 cards selected. And I'm going to find 4 cards in a really fashionable way. The 4th card always ends up in the card box, which I probably placed on the table when we started. And I'll just give an insider too. It's just a dupe. It's just a duplicate that's in that box. But through most people don't think of duplicates. It's not really a common thing for most people. I never bring up the concept of duplicates in my set to begin with, so there's no idea that even exists. But just the idea of when I start that Chicago opener and people allow me to present magic for them, if there's a high bar top table nearby, if we're at a restaurant situation, card box goes down, I start doing Chicago opener, and then as I start doing multiple card find, I will happen to find myself on the opposite side of that group compared to the card box, so that when the final card is found,
right, you can be way clearer.
It's very bananas. And then at that, that's usually a closer, and that's fine. 3 tricks is often great. 2 tricks is actually often great for a group of people. If we're in a good rhythm and a flow, my closers are Omni Deck, because I started bringing up the concept of invisible cards to begin with. And then I did this when I find the 4 cards, I'm shuffling the cards. I'm doing fancy stuff, things that magicians tell you not to do. But this is when I introduce it, that I'm well practiced and I can handle these cards really well. And then I make them all disappear in someone's hands, because I think that's the perfect way to finish that. Or I might do Face Off, which is the best version of Anniversary Waltz. You tear 2 signed cards in half. You get half of one card stuck to the other half, like this. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a sample on the camera. But I've been doing this virtually. I
love it, man.
This is so impossibly crazy. And it happens in their hands too. And that's from Illusionist. But yeah, those are the main things I do. I have a whole bunch of other variable tricks that I have if I need them, but I don't tend to really rely on those anymore. I'll do a bent quarter sometimes, which I think I've talked about on the podcast. I do Neil Tobin's Expert, which takes advantage of a neat technique for a bent coin. The last thing that I want to touch on is how I pack this stuff for a close-up gig, because I know magicians are junkies when it comes to how do you pack and sort and organize, right? And I was on the weekend, I think that's what kind of brought up the conversation, that and the conversation in the Discord. But this is how I carry all my this is my close-up set here. And it's a passport wallet that I found at the surplus store. And I bought 4 or 5 of these because I like the functionality of it. And so I can pack, one has a close-up show.
That's awesome.
I have 2 of these actually, and they're color-coded. One holds my virtual show right now. So my whole virtual show fits in here. I'm working on a new mind reading level 7 wizard show that can fit in one of these, or for the most part. But it's great. There's a zipper component on the back. So say you're leaving a gig and someone wants to ask you about a business card. There's business cards in the back. So those are easy to get. I don't have to open the whole thing to get at them. But on the inside, I just have only what I need. And I remember when I worked with JP Magic, and he was street performer, right? And I'd overpacked for the gig, on the streets. And he's like, all you just pack only what you need. Why are you going to need that other stuff? I was like, it's a pretty good concept.
Oh, I can't take that advice. I mean, it's good advice. I just always have way more extra.
I do have a couple extras, but I'm not going to pack anything that's going to take a massive.
Yes. But that kit is awesome.
So there's 2 decks. This is an unused deck, right? If it's a big gig and I'm flooring through cards, maybe my hands are extra sweaty and I just need to switch the deck. Or
somebody spills a drink.
Yeah. I have a deck ready, and this deck is just a regular deck. I've removed, it's over here, the Ace of Diamonds, because that's going to be my red card for Chicago Opener. I've added a red one in, and I now have the spare blue one to reverse the decks and do a red version later. You know what I mean? So I have that. I have my business cards here. I have multiple Sharpies. You always got to have multiples. You never know when those things dry out. My Omni deck lives in here. That's where the Omni deck lives. This is my bent quarter system, is in this little change purse that goes right there. One of these Sharpies is special to that bent quarter thing. And in here, squishy tangerines and elastic bands. So if you're at a gig and then like, oh, there's kids here. Oops. I have my sponge balls and I have some elastic bands plus the bent quarter. And that is a kid's close-up magic set there. But I don't necessarily have these on me because I don't like how they sit in my pants pocket. It's bulky and gross. You know, I like to be as loose and free-flowing. But that's it. That's all you have in the kit. That's all you need. And it's super simple. And you can give this to the bartender and just toss it under the bar. You can put your wallet, your keys, everything in there too. It's like very handy.
That's cool. Little insider tip. It's like a little backstage area you can put anywhere. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at least I didn't really count it up, but it was between 45 minutes and 4 hours of material in there, I think. That's really great, man. That's great.
Well, I think like you, I mean, if you were to look at all those tricks that you just said and what I've said here too, and I think this is important for the listeners, is could you deliver 30 to 40 minutes of magic with just a deck of cards? And I think we both answered yes to that question here. And we maybe we didn't even realize it that, yeah, we could, because it's always been in our minds in a set. But if, say, we had a deck of cards, we could prepare a 30-minute show with just that and these few other things. And I think that's super important.
How empowering. That's one of the things about, and I know that sounds like a giggle, and it is relief, of course, but in another sense, I think we can all relate to the fact, like, isn't that something to think about? Like, you could, with just a deck of cards, own a room, you know, or like walk in without any prep, maybe 5 minutes worth, and hold a room full of people's attention with really killer magic. That's what we hope you listening, you know,
well, don't get me wrong. I love that time when you're at like a party, right? And someone there knows you're a magician. You didn't bring anything with you. Like, can you do something? And you're like, do you have a deck? I don't know. Do you have a deck of cards? And then it's go time and it's game on, you know? It's so much fun like that. I mean, I probably have a deck of cards too, but whatever.
How fun to think about this. We hope you listen are also getting your brains in gear about doing live shows again. Like, just the action that going through this was fun to think about because it brought back a whole bunch of memories. And that's why we do this, is that moment when you reveal the card is in the pocket or folded or ripped or destroyed and people freak out. That is what brings us a whole bunch of joy. And so we'll hopefully be able to do that again soon.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's even more bizarre because magic's all filled with coincidences. I've been doing these virtual magic field trips, and to be honest, I'm tired of virtual magic shows, but I'm thankful for all the work and all the shows I've gotten to do. And these virtual magic field trips have been actually the best shows. These students, they're like grade 5s, grade 8s, even younger kids. They love this magic right now. But one of the teachers was like, we saw you 2 years ago and my son has a bent quarter that you gave us. So boom, this is how it works and it's successful.
That is awesome. Well, we covered a good list, I'd say, here today. We'd love to know what's on your list. You can let us know in the Discord.
And if you haven't yet, make sure you join the Discord because that's where the conversation happens. It's a safe place, as they say on Canada's Got Talent. Safe place. But yeah, join the Discord because we have lots of fun stuff going on. There's rumors of a Chicago opener jam coming up right around the corner anytime possibly, like, who knows when. It might have even happened by now when this comes out. But that's really exciting stuff. And we have merchandise. So we'd love to see if you grab a t-shirt or a sticker or something like that to rep and support Magicians Talking Magic.
Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. But many thanks from both of us for being here and spending your afternoon, your evening, your morning, wherever, whenever you are listening. Talking Magic. That's what we do here on Magicians Talking Magic. My name is Ryan Joyce.
My name is Grimazing.
Shablossom.
Tidoozle.